Okay, guys, this is part two of tribes in Africa being named after Esau, or the word Edom, or the word Usu, Boor, Obadiah, sons of Esau, wives of Esau, etc. Right? And I forgot to mention this. There was a ruler named ruler. You know, right? Oba, king. And there is a prophet in the Bible named Obadiah. Right. And his Obadiah father was right Edom. Right. So yeah. Let's get to the next one. Habesha. Habesha equals Esau and is found in Ethiopia and Eurasia. Habesha's people, commonly known, use Abyssinians, right? It's an ethnic or pan-ethnic identifier that has historically been applied to Semitic-speaking, predominantly Oriental Orthodox Christian peoples native to highlands of Ethiopia and Eurasia between Asmara and Addis Ababa. The oldest reference to Habesha was 2nd or 3rd century Sabaean engravings as Hissam, recounting the South Arabian involvement of Negus, king of HBST. And read this part. The first attestation of Latin Abiessinus is from the 5th century CE. The 6th century author Stephanus of Byzantium later used the term Abyssinoid to refer to Arabian people living next to the Sabians, together with the Hadramites. If you know the Sabians are of Ham, right? So, right, you can read about this more if you want, but yeah. You're gonna really have to read the rest of this. You can read it, y'all, if y'all want to, but it's nothing really that important. Just wanted to show you that they have Esau in their name, Esau, right? Now we're gonna get to the people, Esau people, what they look like. See, Haile Selassie has a full beard, afro hair, more Negroes with brown, red skin, beautiful women. But men, as you can see, they look Negro. I mean, they are Negro, right? Just so you know, the Habesha, Esau, they got beards too. Right. So next we got the Igala, the Igala. Oh, my bad, Igelu. No, my bad, Jebu. Sorry. Jebu. The Jebu are prominent Yoruba subgroup in southwestern Nigeria, primarily residing in Ogun State, known for their historical commercial dominance over strong entrepreneurial spirit in the 15th century Jebu kingdom. Ooh. Alright, so we're going to put that in a tab. Or, to be honest, we just go to the Wikipedia. But first, before we do that, Jebu, remember, anything with I or E is Esau. It's referring to Esau. Okay? Jebu refers to, they say Gebu, Zabu, but it really refers to one of the Canaanite nations. Jebusite. Jebu. Right? So remember, Canaan had Scythians, Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinites, Arvadites, Amorites, and Hathamites. So the Jebusites would be what Jebu is. Alright. Trying to find here. Okay. Esau mixing with Cain and Nice in the Bible. Esau, the brother of Jacob, married several Canaanite women, specifically from the Hittite and Hivite lineages, which significantly grieved his parents Isaac and Rebekah, because they were told by Abraham because Isaac was told by Abraham not to mix with Canaanites, and Jacob and Esau are both told not to mix with Canaanites. These marriages detailed in Genesis 26 and 36 included Ada, daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Oholibamah, daughter of Anah. These unions mixed his lineages with local Canaanites, later leading him to leave the Canaan for the hill country of Seir. Right. Now, it doesn't say Esau mixed with Jebusite. Okay. Based on the biblical narrative in Genesis, Esau, the son of Isaac and brother of Jacob, did not specifically marry women identified as Jebusite, but he did marry into other Canaanite nations. Right. Now, remember, this is the land of Canaan. So they're, the Jebusites were another Canaanite tribe linked to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, but they are not explicitly listed among Esau's wife in the text, which focuses on Hittite and Hivite. But if they were in the land, there's a possibility that they had mixed with the Jebusites, because there is a kingdom called the Jebu kingdom. Right? So you look at it as part of the Yoruba, and people always wonder why the Yoruba, a lot of people have, epicanthic folds or monolith eyes, like Asian eyes, because they mix with Canaan. So now we're going to go to Jebu people. Right. It's hard to see. You can see, the Jebu people. So, tribal map. Snap. Asian DNA. Says the Jebu people, a sub-ethnic group of Yoruba in Nigeria, are primarily of West African descent, with most Nigerians having 95 to 100% West African ancestry. While some studies are very minor, ancient Eurasian admixture, typically 1-3% in northern groups, from historic trans-Saharan trade. The presence of significant direct age DNA is not characteristic of the group population. Right. Occasionally, some West Africans may display Nebuchadnezzar fold. I've seen Nigerians with Africantic folds. So, we'll put Africantic fold. Right, so they're showing San people, Kozan people, but there are people. Because I've personally seen Nigerians with Asian eyes, so I'm just saying, if you ever see it in a Nigerian with Canaanite eyes, just know Jebu. They could be Jebu, right? But yeah. So remember, Jebu equals Esau, the I equals Esau, Jebu equals Canaanite. Right? So that means they either mixed with Jebusites or they took the land of Jebusite and claimed their name with their forefather E, which is Esau. Alright. Here's another one. Iduma. Right? Remember, Idoma refers to Idumea. Right? Idumea. Iduma. Edom. Edom. Right? Just add the A and took off the E. This is the biggest one. Idoma people. The Idoma people are a major ethnic group in Nigeria, primarily inhabiting the lower western areas of Benue State, known for their rich cultural heritage. They are agriculturalists with a decentralized clan-based society. The Iduma are renowned for their distinct red and black attire. Keyword red. The Origina dance, the Elokubi ancestor cult, celebrating the Ije Eloku festival to honor ancestral spirits. Alright. We go to Edom people on Wikipedia. Yeah, they show Negroes, children right there. Right. So yeah. You can read about this stuff. Just showing you that they have Edom in their name. There's not really major to read because they, traditional religion. Right. Notable Edom people. Adu Ogbe, Jerry Agada, Monica Oga, Moses Achuno. These look like Negroes. Right? Negroes. So we just showed the Iduma. Next. Here is a big one. The Igala people. And I got scripture for this one. I mean, we already had scripture for all of them, but this one, oh yeah. This is the icing on the cake right here. Sort of. So, what you call it? Hold a second. Okay. The Igala people, or Obo. Sounds like Oba backwards. And Obadiah, right? Igala are a major ethno-linguistic group in Nigeria, numbering over 2.6 million, primarily inhabiting Kogi State Eastern region with their traditional capital, Ida. All right, and I wrote a lot of notes on this one. A lot of notes. And I'm gonna tell you why. So, don't review the paper. Igala. Remember, the I equals Esau. Alright? Remember, I equals Esau. Okay? Now we're going to get to the Gala part after this, right? The Gala or Igara, they try to switch names, and I'm going to tell you why they're trying to say Igara. People are West African ethno-linguistic group native to the region immediately south of the confluence of the Niger and Benue rivers in central Nigeria. The area inhabited primarily by the Igala is referred to Igala land. Alright. So we're going to go down here. The Igala kingdom expanded vastly beyond the present day boundary. Their homeland, the former Igala kingdom, is a triangular area of 14,000 kilometers per square in the angle formed by the Benue and Niger rivers. The area was formerly known as Igala division of Kaba province and is now part of the Kogi state. Its capital was Ida in Kogi state. The bulk of the Igala people reside in Kogi, where they can be found in Ida, Igalamela, Odulu, we're going to get to that one, Ajaka, Ofu, Olamaboro, right, Dikina, Basa, Angpa, Omala, Olushi, Efi Island. Alright. Geography. The geographical location played an important role in the development of the Igala kingdom. Igala is situated between the apex of the Niger River and the Benue River, with the capital Ida on the Niger River, being located by the two main bodies of water in Nigeria, brought an abundance of cultural influence from various communities such as Igbo, Yoruba. Remember, Yoruba, Oba, right? Keyword Oba, Obadiah, Edo, Edom, and Jukun. Not sure what Jukun is. Jukun sounds like Jock Tan, but we ain't gonna say that. But so we're gonna get to the next part. All right, I don't think we got. Okay, we can read this part. It's important. We don't gotta read that part. That part's not that important. Okay, we don't gotta read this part either. So I'm trying to get to the other parts. We can read, yeah. This is the most important one. So, I mean, it was Edo in this one. The Igala kingdom. The Igala kingdom. Go ahead and make a thing for that. I'm trying to see. Do I need to come to this one too? I don't. Not really. I don't really have to. No, I don't have to go to this one. I don't think so. The Igala kingdom was ruled by an Ata. Sounds like Ada, right? So we're going to look at the wives of Esau. Wives of Esau. Right? One of the wives of Esau was Ada, right? Ada. Ada sounds like Ada. Oma Idiko, right? Oma Idiku. Oma sounds like Omar, one of the sons of Esau, Omar, right? And Ata Eme Oboni, right? So are the two most revered. In Igala lore, Oma Idiku is said to have offered his beloved daughter Inikpi by burying. Alright, I gotta do this right quick. Omar daughter in Bible. Okay, it doesn't say. Right, by burying her alive to ensure that Igala won a war of liberation from Jew condemnedness. Yala and Edomite is known to have been very brave, resolute, because its stiff resistance against the British and struggle to uphold the ancient traditions of Igala land. Alright. Now, get down here. We don't have to read none of that. We can read right here. Yep. Masquerades. Masks are an important aspect of Igala art. Masquerades are rituals that aim to create a balanced relationship between the world of the living and the ancestors of the spiritual realm. Igala masks feature symbolic markings that are meaningful in identifying political status and the culture's fashion. Because their markings are not strict for each other and fashion changes over time, it is difficult for historians to rely on them to identify their place of origin. Igala masks have influences from several bordering regions, including Igbo, Edo, and Iduma. Remember Igbo? I think this is another way of them saying Edo or Obo, Aba, Oba. Backwards is Obi. I don't know. But they're all the same stock, right? We don't really got to read more of that. Basically saying they're related. They're all related. Igbo, Edo, Iduma. Right. But yeah. Now, we'll show, before we show the noble people, now we're going to show this part. So now we're going to go to Igala Odolu. Before I get to this part, I got to make sure I read this part first. It's not, it's not that one. I swore I had that part. Okay. It's Ida, it's this one. It's both, but I need to read this part before. Dang, it's not saying it now. Go on my phone right quick. Okay, guys. Let me go back to here right quick. Let me go to Control F. No. There it is. Alright. Just the part I missed. While the present kingdom has diminished in size, Igala people and their culture have been an integral part of the formation of the communities along the Niger River, with many communities claiming ethnogenesis from Ida, the ancestral home of the Igala. Minorities of the group exist and are native to the Edo, Delta, Anambra, and Enugu states. If you notice, they said ethnogenesis. Now, who is one person in the Black American diaspora known for saying ethnogenesis? Can somebody tell me? Okay, if you don't know, that's Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed talks about ethnogenesis, basically of how foundational Black Americans basically have a mixture, of different ethnicities like European, African slaves, Native American, etc. Right? Where they're saying that the Igala had an ethnogenesis from the Ida region, which means they're mixed with a bunch of different tribes too. So, before I get to that part, right? Before we get to Ida, we're gonna show this right quick. So Ida is a town in Kogi State, Nigeria, on the eastern bank of the Niger River in the Middle Belt region of Nigeria. It is the headquarters of the Igala Kingdom and also a local government area, right? So, Ida, I think, refers to Ada, the Hittite wife of Edom, Ada. They just took the I off and put an A. And that's why they say they had an ethnogenesis in that so-called area, I guess. And then here's the big one, right? One of the sons of Edom, right? Sons of Edom. Jalam Bible verse. Okay. And Aholabama, Bear, Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which we were born into the land of Canaan. Right? So if you notice, they spell it Jalam, but the original translation was Jaalam. Right? So I want to see what the Nigerian Bible says. Right. Okay, now let's say I want to try this right quick. So basically, right, one of the sons of Edom is named Jalam with a J. Right? And the Igala people, they have a region called the Igala Mela Adulu. The key word of Igala Mela, E is Esau, Galam would be Jalam, one of the sons of Esau, right? Odu could be referring to Edo, right? Just took the E off, put an O. But Galam is definitely Jalam. Definitely. And E is Esau. It's the local headquarters. And I'm trying to see if there's a Jalam. So we're going to take the Nigeria Jalam. What does that say? Right. And also, Jalam is saying it's a pre-colonial Sanakiki kingdom in Senegal and Mali. So you got that evidence too. But as far as this, Igalamela, Jalam refers to one of the sons of Esau, right? And then The Igalas come from the Igala kingdom. Capital of Igala kingdom was Ida. Right? This was the capital of the Igala kingdom. Ida equals Ada, one of the wives of Esau, mother of Jalam, Bible. Right, now they're saying Oblamaya. Right. But, like I said, it says Igala Mela. So, right. But yeah, that's it for this one. So, Igala Mela is Esau. And then Jalam is Jalam, son of one of the sons of Esau. Edo referred to Ada, the wife of Esau. Right? That's why you're seeing Adam. Well, that's something different, but Edom, Ida. So yeah. Yeah. Olama Boro. Okay. Yeah. Let's get to the next one. Next one is Igbu. We'll do these first and then we get to that. Alright, the Yala tribe. The Yala or Yala people are an ethnic group primarily located in Yala local government of the North Cross River State, Nigeria. Right? According to tradition, they are descendants of Ode, a son of the Iduma progenitor who moved to the region. Right. So Ada sounds like Ode. Right. So Yala people could relate to Jalam because Yala, there was no J in letters since 16th century, so Yala could refer to Jala or Jalam, and they are related to the Edom people, right? So Yala, Igala could be related, and we're gonna type versus related to Igala. Yep, they have a deep ancestral connection between Yala and Igala. So they're the same, they're all part of the Edom family. So yes, they're related. So Yala tribe, it could be the same as Igala. Alright. Okay, and then we're going to look at some Igala people, if we can. Let's see. This is the Yala tribe. See how red her skin is. Negro they are. Yep. Igala people. So you go down. There goes a Negro. Another Negro. Yep. Now we're going to get to... We're going to make this part quick. Tribes of Edo. Tribes of Edo State. So these are all the... Now, we didn't mention these tribes, but they're all of the Edo State, so that means they are related to the people that we said. So it doesn't matter if they're not being called Edo, Esau, Eson, they are related to them. Right? So we did not mention the Ephraimite, but they are related. We did not mention the Ejah, but they are there. They're related. Remember the Esau. Do you have the Ora, Ibu, Etunu, Iru, Usin. Usin sounds like Usu. Ekpon. Ekpon sounds like Zephyr or Zephyr, right? One of the sons of Esau. And Oza. Okay. Now we're going to do tribes related to Edo. Like I said, the Esako, the Owan, Akoto Edo, right? Deltoid Edoid groups, the Urubo, Ohobo, Asoko, Isoko. Let me see, Soko, Cannon, Knight, Canaanite son. I don't know, but yeah, Ika, right? So all the tribes that fall under Edo are related, and they are of Edom. All right, tribes related to Eson, Owen Urbu, the Igbus, right? They're related, so they're of Esau, right? Yep. Edom, related, right? So pretty much almost all of Nigeria is all of the Edo Empire and related to the Edo. They're all pretty much related, just have different names, different mixtures. Yeah. So Edom is in Nigeria. Mostly. Okay. Now, we're going to do the Basa tribe. The Basa people are a major West African ethnic group primarily located in Liberia, as the second largest group in Cameroon, with smaller populations in Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ivory Coast. Alright? Remember the key word of Basa. Asa. Isa. Don't let that B fool you. Basa Isa. Right? So, you know, we don't really have to read none of that. But, yeah. And you see, you know, mostly see how red her skin is. You know, these are Basa or Esau people. Okay, I didn't have this on my list, but we'll go ahead and show it. Guinea, Esau. Remember the keyword Esau. Right? Don't let. Remember Esau spelled E-S-A-U. All they did was just add a B, took the E off and made an I. Busa. Right? And now, pre-European contact. The ancient history of what is now Guinea-Bissau is poorly understood by historians. The early inhabitants were the Jola. They were located in Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, right, and Gambia. Now, Jola sounds like Jala, with Jalam, son of Esau, right? So, Jola sounds like Jala, which is Jalam, son of Esau, right? Jola, right? So, Jolam, right? Papel, Manjak, Balanda, and Bayafara. Later, the Mandinka, Fulani. Remember, these are all also part of Esau. because they said these were the main inhabitants of the area. You know, so if these are the major groups of the Guinea-Bissau or Guinea-Esau, that means they are of the same stock, or your black Portuguese. And we already did a video saying that there are more black speaking Portuguese than any other race on the planet. So the Fulani, so if the Fulani, Biafara, Mandinka, if they're under a country named Guinea-Bissau or Guinea-Esau, they are of the same stock, right? It wasn't that hard. So I want to do Ivory Coast, but they're French, so we got to find a way to. We got to look at some. Okay, this might be another video, but French word for Esau. Okay, it's the same. Now we're going to do Edo. Dang, they want to do it like this? Okay. De Esau. Wow. Red. Rouge. Red. Rouge. Okay. Ruddy. Rouge. Okay. Brown. Brune. Negro. Negre. Okay. Boor. Dang, this one's gonna be hard. But Ivory Coast, right? Yeah, we might not be able to do this one. But Côte Dents, Kwa. Now, I understand they are saying Dan, Cuba. Right? I understand this Dan people thing, right? But, so, the Haswa people, alright. Yep. Haswa. Haswa? So there's over 1 million people that are in Ivory Coast from the Haswa tribe. So yes, there's Edom. Ivory is also Edom. I mean Esau, because that's the Haswa people over there. Man, oh Dan. Alright. Cuba. They speak the Dan language. Right. I don't understand about the Dan people, like what I don't understand is that how are they in West Africa with the name Dan? Right? So Dan people related to what tribes? Manu and Kepele. So, but yeah. Move on to the next part. Balanda tribe. Oh, sorry. Balanda Boor tribe. The Balanda Boor or Boor are an ethnic group normally living in South Sudanese states of Western Equatoria and Western Bahr el Ghazal. They speak the Balanda Boor language, however, most are bilingual in Balanda Beri. Now, you might think, right? Why, I thought that South Sudan was of the Nilotic people. I did too. However, what you don't understand is they're being called Boor in some areas. Boor is referring to Esau. Could have Esau been intermingled with the Nilotic people or the sons of Lot? Yeah, they could have. You know why? Because the South Sudan president Salva Kiir, right? He can grow a beard. He can grow a full beard. Not saying that the sons of Lot can't. I'm just saying this man can grow a full beard. Right? You don't think that he could be a Balanda Boor? Even though they said his tribe, right? We go to his tribe. He's part of the Dinka ethnic group. He belongs to a Awan clan. Right? So be a Balanda Boor. But yeah, guys, that is it. I just basically gave you all the tribes right now that have the name or Edo, Esau, Boor, Usu in their name. And yeah, that's it. And I'm out.